Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I'm going to take you back years ago when I made fast and delicious ramen dishes for you guys. I want to know your favorite. Now, if you hear the word ramen in some of these videos, it's because that's how I grew up saying that word, ramen, and not ramen. But after a couple of videos that I've showed y'all how to make ramen noodles, I learned the word because y'all let me know how to say it right. Okay, we are going to start off with a delicious ground beef and stroganoff ramen. We're going to move to a vegetable fried ramen. It's going to remind you of fried rice. We're going to go to an Asian noodle salad. Let's top it off with a beef and broccoli skillet ramen meal. Let's head on back years ago, then y'all let me know your favorite. Do I have a fast, easy version of ground beef stroganoff? We're going to be using some ramen noodles. I know you have these in your pantry and you're like, what am I going to do with these? This recipe right here. I have a 30-minute recipe on stroganoff, but this one's going to cut that time in half. The first thing that I'm going to do right now is I've got an onion and I've peeled it and I'm going to chop it into small pieces, and then we're going to start getting that ready in our large pot or large skillet. Right, I'm just going to get my garlic cloves going right here really quick while I got them here. Got about 3 cloves. I'm just going to go ahead and take the skin off. Everything's going to happen in one pot here. Now I've got it over medium-high heat. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of butter. Now hang on to your butter, we're going to need it here in a little bit. And then 1 tablespoon of some cooking oil. We're going to start heating this up, and then I'm going to go ahead and add the onion. What we're going to do now is saute the onions down until they're nice and soft. Okay, my onions are nice and softened. Got a little color to them, which is great. What we're going to do now is add our ground beef. I've got 1.5 pounds. This is just a ground chuck. I'm just going to break this up, and then we're going to cook this down until the meat is no longer pink. Okay, the ground beef is all nice and brown now. What I'm going to do is add our garlic. I've got my cloves here that I've already peeled. I'm going to add it. And then what we're going to do is cook this an additional minute, stirring it. That way it'll cook the garlic. Now make sure that you drain your ground beef before you add your garlic. Just going to cook this for like 30 seconds to a minute. Add 3 tablespoons of butter. What this is going to do is serve as a thickener with our flour here. We're going to add 3 tablespoons of flour. Mix this all together and stir it all for 1 minute. Okay, we're going to add 1 can of cream of soup. Now I'm doing a celery here. If you want to do a mushroom, you can do that. And then I'm going to add 4 cups of beef broth. We're going to raise our temperature on the burner to a high so we can bring this to a boil. I'm just going to stir this to mix it all. I'm going to give this a taste also. I want to check for salt and pepper. Alright, let's go in. Let's add some pepper and some salt, about 1/4 teaspoon of each. Okay, while we're waiting for that to come to a boil, let's talk about ramen noodles. You can use any flavor package because we are not going to use that seasoning packet that comes in the noodles. So I'm just going to break them. And then these you can just toss. If you look in the pot, we have a boil going on now, and that's perfect. So we're going to go ahead now and add all of our noodles. Okay, we're going to get it into the liquid here and start stirring it around. Now you don't need to put a lid on it. Make sure there's nothing is sticking to the bottom of your pot, so just scrape along that. This will take just a few minutes for these noodles to cook. Our ramen noodles are cooked inside of our stroganoff. You can see that they absorbed all of that flavor and that liquid, the sauce. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is turn off the burner. We're not done yet. We're gonna add half a cup of sour cream. Probably about what I have in here. Okay, can y'all see that stroganoff goodness here? That is so delicious. That's better than anything you can get out of a can, let me tell you. I have a recipe today called fried ramen, and it is so like the fried rice recipe, okay? And that's what it's gonna taste like, because we're gonna give it all the flavors of fried rice that you love. The first thing we're gonna do is just go ahead and cook our noodles and get those ready. We're gonna cook these 2 packages per the instructions on the back of the packet here. I'm gonna drain these, and then I'm gonna run these under cool water just to kind of stop the cooking process. Turn on our burner to a medium high, just using a large skillet. So I'm using some sesame seed oil. That's going to give it some really good flavor that we love in fried rice. Now if you don't have that, you can certainly use any other type of cooking oil. But this will give it some flavor. So if you can find this, just go right ahead and get it. Okay, we've got 2 tablespoons going on here. Now, I've got 1 onion that I'm going to be dicing up. Add my onions. We're going to saute these down until they get nice and soft. In my fried rice, I like peas and carrots. So I'm going to put about a cup in here and start cooking those down. That looks good. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to my vegetables here. You got to season every step of the way. And then we're going to add some pepper. Alright, so I'm just going to add a little bit of garlic. It's all about flavor in this dish. We're going to go ahead and add our ramen noodles that we've rinsed under cool water. Break up the noodles into our peas and carrots and our onions. Because this is a fried ramen, so we want to get it crispy on the edges there. Bump my heat up there just a little bit. You want your heat on a medium high. We're going to smash it down here. Let it sit for about 1 minute. Okay, so I've got some soy sauce here, so I'm going to go ahead and start adding about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add a little bit more sesame oil for that flavor. Start mixing that all up. Okay, so I'm going to let them sit here frying on the bottom, and let's go ahead and scramble some eggs. Okay, I've got my 2 eggs here. Just going to crack them into my bowl. Now you just want to take a fork and just kind of whisk them together. Like the yolk. Move our fried ramen over. Slowly and very carefully just add your eggs. And what you want to do is let it sit there and set up for just a minute. Now just start pushing it away from your noodles there. We're going to turn the heat off. Once your eggs are nice and fluffy, and then just start incorporating your noodles and the eggs. Okay, this is definitely reminding me of fried rice. Way faster than making fried rice, because it takes 20 minutes to cook your rice, and then got to cool it down. I do have some sesame seeds here to finish it off. Today I'm going to show you how to make ramen Asian salad. The first thing we're going to do is prepare the ramen. Place your large skillet over medium heat. We're going to go ahead and get this started with 1 tablespoon of butter. Now that's going to give it some flavor. And then I'm going to take the noodles here. These are 3-ounce packages, and we're using 2 of them today for this recipe. Now you can use any flavor, okay, because we're not going to use those little packages. Now you just want to break it up. Alright, so go ahead and just add the noodles. We're going to toss these around for just a little bit. I have some sunflower seeds and I'm going to add those, about 1/4 cup. Okay, I've got some sliced almonds that I'm going to add so that I can toast those, about 1/2 cup. All right, we're just going to move these around just a little bit. I just want to coat these with some butter. You got to continually move it around just for a few minutes. We need a total of 5 minutes in the pan. I might add another tablespoon of butter in there. Now, if you have big pieces in there, you can just kind of break them up. Okay, we're going to go ahead now and turn off the heat and then remove it from the burner. Okay, now you can do the same thing in the oven. You can put the oven on 425 degrees and then you can spread out your crumbled up ramen plus your sunflower seeds and your almonds and just spread them out on the sheet pan. You won't need any butter for that. You can put it in the oven for about 3 to 4 minutes, pull it out, shake it around, toss it around, then put it back in the oven for another 3 to 4 minutes, up to 5 minutes, but you've got to keep an eye on it, okay, so it doesn't singe on you. I like this way because it adds flavor from the butter and also kind of softens it up just a little bit and gives it a nice toasty flavor to it. Okay, now we're going to make that sweet savory dressing. Yeah, it's got a lot of flavors going on in here, as you can see right here. We're going to start off in a large bowl. We're going to add 2/3 cup of avocado oil. Now, if you don't have avocado oil, you can use a different type of cooking oil. 4 tablespoons white granulated sugar. 3 and 4. All right, we're going to add in 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar, 1½ tablespoons of soy sauce. That's a little more than 1/2. 1/4 teaspoon of toasted sesame oil. That'll give it some flavor. Now this is strong, so be careful how much you put in. You know, that might have been too much. As I say that, I pour 2 teaspoons in. We're going to add in 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. All right, we're going to whisk this all together until it's well combined. All right, give that a try and see what you think. Ooh, that's good. You know what I think it needs a little bit of? Some salt. I was using very low sodium soy sauce, so I'm going to go in with just a little bit of salt. It's your choice. And now what we're going to do, take our whisk out. I've got 2 packages of coleslaw and it has the carrots in it. So this is 7 ounces each. So I guess about 14 ounces of coleslaw. Let's go ahead and get that in. I'm going to take some green onions. And then I'm just going to slice those up all the way to the greens. Let's go ahead and add that. And then we're going to take our ramen mixture that we just had toasted. We're going to go ahead and add that. You're going to need a really big bowl when you do this dish here. What we're going to do now is blend this all together very carefully. Just start tossing it until everything is well coated with the dressing. All right, what we're going to add now is rotisserie chicken that's fully cooked. This will make a full meal of this, or you can just leave it like that. All right, so about 1 cup of chopped up cooked chicken. Now I have a recipe for baked chicken and you can use that if you want. I'll link it down below in the description box, or you can find that on my recipe blog, catherinesplates.com, where you can also find my cookbooks. Got that chicken going in there. All right, let's combine this. I cannot wait to dig into this. This might be my spoon right here. What do y'all think? I have a recipe in front of me that I've never made before, so we're going to enjoy this together. This came from one of my subscribers, Eric. Now this is a skillet beef and broccoli ramen. And the description, the best way to enjoy beef and broccoli over ramen noodles. First thing we're going to do is start marinating the beef. We're going to start with a 1/4 cup of canola oil, or you can use vegetable oil. We're going to add 1 teaspoon of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons apple cider vinegar, a 1/4 cup of honey, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. We're going to take a little bit of flat-leafed parsley and we're just going to rough chop it. We're going to add that to our marinade. We're just going to blend this together. That's delicious. We're going to take some flank steak. Now I've got 2 packages here. These are 8 ounces each. Now what you want to do is stick those in the freezer for a little bit while you're making the marinade. That way it's easy to cut. Now this is a boneless beef flank steak. Now you're going to look for the grain of the meat and you're going to cut against it. So I can see that the grain is going this way, so we're going to cut it this way. Very thin so that it cooks fast. Okay, what we're going to do now is cut this in half. So instead of the long strips, we're going to have shorter strips. Place this into a Ziploc bag. Okay, we're going to pour in our marinade. Seal the bag. We're going to take all the air out. All right, we're going to smush it around. Make sure all the meat is covered with that marinade. This is going to go into the refrigerator for at least 1 hour, preferably 6 hours, but no longer than 12 hours. About halfway through, we're going to flip it over. So I've been marinating this for 5 hours. It's good to go for us, so we're going to go ahead and start with the next step, which is we're going to make the ramen noodles. You just need 2 packages. Now what's good about this is that you can pull 2 out of your pantry as long as you're not using the seasoning packet in it, and use any flavor because the noodles are all the same. In a medium pot, I filled it up about halfway with water. We're going to put it on high heat. And we're going to bring that to a boil. Once your water comes to a boil, we're going to go ahead and add both packets of noodles. Now make sure that you pull out the seasoning packets. Now I kind of just broke these just a little bit. Okay, these are 3 ounces each packet. I'm just going to take a wooden spoon. I'm going to stir this around. We're going to cook this for 2 minutes. Once your 2 minutes are up, we're going to turn off the burner, and then we're going to go drain these, run cold water over them to stop the cooking process. The next step is you want to go ahead and start preparing your broccoli. That way it's ready to go when we get to that step. You need about 4 cups frozen broccoli, and then what we did was we thawed it out. We're going to chop it up, and I'm just going to take a knife and just go through it, and any big pieces I'm going to cut down. I think we got it all done. Because once the sauce gets going, you don't want to have to stop the sauce to try to cut your broccoli into small pieces and thaw it out. So make sure you have that ready to go. Okay, now what we're going to do is start working on the flank steak and getting that nice and crispy, because we like that crispy beef in beef and broccoli. What we're going to do is take some tongs. Oh, that marinade smells delicious. So just shake off the excess marinade before you put the beef into your bowl. That parsley, oh, adds a nice color to it. 3 tablespoons of cornstarch. Sprinkle it over it. We're going to coat it very well with the cornstarch. This will aid in the thickener for our sauce. Get all that in there. And just toss them so they're fully coated. There we go. We're going to place our burner on high heat. I know, right? Well, we really want to get these nice and crispy, so you want that. I think 400 degrees. I'm going to add 1 tablespoon of cooking oil. And then once that gets nice and hot, we're going to place half of the beef strips into the oil and get a thin layer. And then we'll do a second batch after that. Well, yeah, I see a shimmer going on, so let's go ahead and create a layer of beef. Now the trick to this is not to move it once it's sitting there, because you want to get it crispy. Okay, we'll save this for the second batch. We're going to cook this for about 1.5 to 2 minutes on one side and then flip it over. Start on the side that you put the meat in first and then work your way back. Okay, we're going to cook another 30 seconds, and then we're going to remove them to a plate, and then we'll start the second layer. Add another tablespoon of oil. You don't want to dry them out. We're going to start turning them over. Oh, look at the crispy bits in there. Set this aside and we're going to start making that sauce. Okay, I have everything right here that we're going to need to make the sauce. So now that the pan cooled down just a little bit, we're going to put it back onto a medium-high heat and get that going. We're going to add 1 cup of beef broth, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of hoisin sauce. Now that's what this is right here. This is replacing the oyster sauce because we had the hoisin sauce, and you can switch them out. 2 teaspoons of minced garlic, 2 tablespoons of sesame oil. Now this is the toasted variety. Oh, it's really going to give it that flavor. Did y'all see that happen? I think I was off the screen. There we go. And then we're going to put in some ginger. 1/2 teaspoon. Blend it all together. Okay, we want to reduce this down, so we're going to cook this for about 5 to 8 minutes until it starts thickening. We're going to do this over medium heat. You can see how the liquid has reduced by half, so what we're going to do is place in our 4 cups of broccoli that we had already chopped up and prepared. So we're just going to lay it across the sauce. You don't want to stir this in. Okay, we're going to place this on a high heat. We want to bring that to a boil. Once the liquid has come to a boil, we're going to go ahead and place a lid on. We're going to turn this down to low. And we're just going to let it kind of steam for 3 minutes until the broccoli is nice and cooked through. The 3 minutes is up. We're going to go ahead now and turn off the burner. Remove the lid. Oh, it smells good. We're going to add in our crispy beef. We're going to add our cooked ramen noodles. We're going to stir this all together. Let the noodles absorb that sauce. Okay, I'm going to add cornstarch slurry to help thicken what's left in there. Oh yeah, that's thickening up. Now I've got some green onions over here. I'm just going to garnish. You have some sesame seeds. You can garnish it with that. There we go. Broccoli, beef, and ramen. If y'all want to see this recipe, go to katherinesplates.com. I will put it over there so that y'all can follow it step by step and get the same results. Thumbs up. Make sure you comment down below. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button down below. Everyone, make sure you're hitting that bell notification. That way you're always notified when shows like this one here are posted. I'll see y'all on the next episode.